And I'm not going to talk too much. I'll let Eric explain. Come on over, Eric.
Thank you very much, Indira. So, thank you all very much. So first, a little story. My Alexandra and I, we met and courted in Washington, D.C. And she spent her formative years on the Front Range. And there came a point where she said, I'd like you to meet my mother, who lived up in Dumont, up in the on I-70 corridor. And she came out, it was during the summer, she came out ahead of me. I followed afterward, and I made an arrangement for how we would meet up. I consulted my pocket guide to beer pubs. And I looked in the Colorado section, and I saw the Wynkoop Brewery. And so I said to Alexandra on the phone, here's the address, let's meet at the Wynkoop Brewery. So I am so grateful to Senator Hickenlooper for his excellent service as mayor of Denver, as governor of Colorado, continuing as senator, and also for his personal role in my lifetime fulfillment. Thank you very much. So as Indira said, well, I'll just speak a little bit more about my background. So I've been very politically minded from a very young age. I used to watch the Sunday morning talk shows with my dad and participate in political discussions with my family, very politically minded family from a very young age. As an undergraduate, I was the leader of the independent party of the Yale Political Union, where we prided ourselves on not being captives of groupthink, but being free-thinking individuals. And so this is kind of consistent with what Indira was saying about not being divisive, because all through my adult life, let's say, I've cultivated the manner of understanding or seeking to understand people whose views differ from my own, seeking to convey my own views in as persuasive and diplomatic way as possible, and trying to be as forthright and fair-minded as I possibly can be. And so this is an important mission of mine. It's been one that I've pursued in various ways as the founding president of the board of directors of the Transcendental Politics Foundation, as a founding leader and the current co-chair of our local Douglas County-based chapter of Braver Angels, the Southern Front Range Alliance. And Braver Angels is dedicated to depolarizing America by bringing reds and blues together to seek common understanding. Thank you very much. Yesterday, a high school student interviewed me for a civics project. And I'll share with you two questions that this student posed to me and how I responded to them. One question was, why did you decide to get involved and to run for office? And another question was about campaign slogans and themes. And the answer to these two questions are very much aligned, because the theme of my campaign is decency and sense. And I generated this phrase, decency and sense, early in the previous presidential administration, when so much was going on in our society, not just in the White House, but across the political, well, not across the political spectrum, but at every level, where supporters of that president kind of betrayed an absence, a deficit of decency and sense. And it was always my opinion that we would do best, as successful as we could be, in cultivating those people in our society who have a sense of decency and sense, no matter what their political leading is, whatever their political affiliation is, or maybe none at all. So that's been my motivation to be someone involved in our public life, to run for office, to cultivate these values as an elected official, and also in this campaign. Last week, maybe you heard some remarks, a speech that President Obama gave. And President Obama raised this question. He said, when did it become okay? And he spoke about the miserable things that certain people were saying about FEMA's response in Florida to the hurricanes, and the lying, the grotesque victimization of already vulnerable people. And it's kind of a question that I raised with respect to my own campaign, because I've wondered, when did it become okay for a state party to send out a blast email at the beginning of Pride Month that read in the subject line, "God hates flags," and to follow that up with a social media post that read, "Burn all the pride flags in June"? The good part of that incident was there was kind of an uproar amongst people in that party. There were party chairs, there were party central committees outraged that this had happened, that sought the resignation of the chairman of that party. But do you know who was not outraged? Do you know who was stoutly defending that chair? The incumbent representative of House District 39, the person whom I aim to put out of office with all of your support. So thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to seeing you out on the hustings. Thank you.
Eric Brody, Colorado House District 39.